Capricorn Coffee is a premium coffee brand that grows through loyalty. Not just selling coffee, but building relationships through curated experiences, partner events, and personalized offers. The Coral Cloud Maui Summit 2026 is one of those moments. Partnering with Coral Cloud Resorts, their Tier 1 partner, they're running a live event in Maui for 500 of their most valuable loyalty members. Today, we'll follow a developer who built the service team one unified, agent-ready experience to run it, so that none of those relationships slip through the cracks at the moment that matters most. Here's the problem they started with. On paper, the summit is ready. Venue booked, speakers confirmed, and 500 of the company's most valuable members registered. Together, worth $4 million in lifetime loyalty value. But registration isn't readiness. The team needs to know who's at risk, what outreach is pending, whether partner commitments are on track, and what to do next. Their question is simple. Is this event actually ready? Simple question. But today, the information behind that answer is spread across places. Take partner account context. Capricorn Coffee works with partners like Coral Cloud Resorts, and that account data lives across multiple source systems, Sales Cloud, ERP, and D&B. Each has overlapping, sometimes conflicting records. Next, CRM gives us the event and attendee foundation. Data Cloud gives us the behavioral signals for each customer, their transaction history and engagement activity ingested from the lakehouse. And Tableau helps explain the business signal behind the risk. MuleSoft connects the operational actions the service team may need to take. Look at the scale of what we just saw. One question, and the context behind it is spread across all of that. Different sources, different data models, different shapes of the same truth. Some of it inside Salesforce, some mastered outside it, some sitting in external operational systems entirely. Now I'm the developer, and my task is to bring all of that context together into one experience. Unified, agent-ready, fast enough for event speed. The service team asked one question: is this event ready? So I built them one answer, and I built it to scale for every event, every VIP activation that runs throughout the year. And this is a fully built React app running on real data, Data 360, MuleSoft APIs, the whole stack behind it. And it's agent ready, so you can ask a question about event readiness and it comes back with the results instantly. And it doesn't stop at diagnosis. This is a structured response rendered as an event readiness card, not a paragraph. The next step is right there, with the reasoning behind it. One click and the at-risk attendees show up in the same readiness context. The team acts, review who needs attention, start outreach, without ever leaving the answer. The reasoning and the workflow live together. Here's the part that matters. I didn't hand-stitch context from 5 different sources to get there, because the path to getting there would look like this. What you're watching is sped up 15 times, and it still feels heavy. To answer one question, I'm jumping across MuleSoft, Tableau, CRM, and Data 360, then assembling the agent and pushing it into every channel the team needs. That is the work that usually sits between the business question and the answer. And in an event speed business, that delay is the problem. So I didn't build it this way. That rich React experience was built using Headless 360, API first, MCP-Native, with the tools of my choice. Every source you saw became a tool Claude can call. Let me show you how. First, I ground in Salesforce. Through Salesforce MCP, Claude inspects my org and discovers the event model, attendee records, fields, permissions, flows, and actions. Headless doesn't mean disconnected. I start grounded in the platform. Then I narrow that into a data contract, exactly what the card needs from CRM: event details, attendee list, registration state, VIP and speaker status, outreach actions. This is the attendee readiness you saw on the card. Now the partner, remember, no one could trust which Coral Cloud Resorts account was real. That resolution happens in Informatica. Duplicates mastered into one trusted partner account. And here's the key move. Informatica loads that mastered context straight into Data 360 through its connector. I don't build a separate integration for partner data. It lands where the rest of my context lives. Which means one MCP now gives me everything. Through Data 360 MCP, Claude pulls loyalty profile, engagement history, calculated insights, churn risk, segment membership, and that trusted partner context Informatica just loaded. This is where the churn risk number on the card comes from, and it's what moves the card beyond who registered to who needs attention. Then Tableau. Engagement trend, customer value, audience performance, event impact, the business signal that justifies the recommendation. And notice the speed. Inspecting the org, mapping a data contract, resolving partner records, pulling loyalty and churn from Data 360, building a view like this one. Done by hand? That's hours, sometimes days, clicking through setup, data model tools, and separate consoles. Headless 360 is speed running all of it: APIs, MCP tools, and skills doing the discovery. I'm working at the speed of intent, not the speed of clicks. And this is why the card can say why the risk matters, not just that it exists. And the operational side. Remember the gift inventory and fulfillment data sitting in external systems? Those APIs we saw earlier have MCP tools too. And here's what makes it clean. Because the MuleSoft org and the Salesforce org are tightly connected, those MuleSoft tools show up as Agentforce actions automatically. I don't hand-wire them, so Claude discovers them. Gifts, offers, fulfillment, partner checks, outreach, and my agent can call them directly in the flow. It doesn't just recommend, it can do. Now I assemble. Agentforce reasons across CRM, Data 360, including the Informatica mastered partner context, Tableau Insight, and MuleSoft actions, and returns a structured readiness response with a recommended next step. This is what produced the card you saw. And I test before it ships. The trace shows exactly what context was used, which signals were retrieved, which tools were available, and how the answer was assembled. Nothing on that card is a black box. So the agent works, the answers come back, and the trace makes them trustworthy. But look at the response itself. It's text, and the future of agentic experiences is not text. My team needs something they can take in at a glance, click into, and act on, an experience that scales across surfaces. That's where HXL comes in. This is the HXL playground. The agent response comes in as JSON, and the playground renders it as the card live. I can adjust the JSON and watch the card update. Status, risk, next step, the at-risk attendees action, all the information in one go. All of it interactive, not just readable. And the playground previews how this same card renders across surfaces. So now I know exactly what I want. The next step is to make it real in the platform. I take that validated card design and make it real as a custom Lightning type. This is the reusable building block. The card becomes a first-class component type on the platform, not markup hand-coded into one app. Once it exists here, any surface can render it. So let's walk where this goes. Start with what's running right now. The React app you saw at the top, live, with the event readiness card rendering real data from across the platform. And this summer, the same response travels. No rebuild. Here in ChatGPT, someone on the team simply asks whether the Maui summit is ready, and the answer comes back as the full event readiness card, rendered right inside the conversation. The same thing happens in Slack. The team asks in the channel where they already work, and the identical card renders in the reply. And for organizations using Teams, the same card experience continues. What you just saw wasn't really about where the experience showed up. It was about what stood behind it. One developer, starting from a Salesforce org, assembled loyalty data, churn signals, live inventory, and partner context into a single governed answer. API first, MCP native, grounded and trustworthy by the time it reached anyone. The team that ran the Maui Summit never opened Salesforce or any other system once. The surface is just where it landed. The platform is what made it real. That's Headless 360.